Hey there, it's Hayden, your Spokane real estate resource. So you're looking to buy your first home in Spokane, but maybe you're feeling a bit overwhelmed or confused. Maybe you've been getting advice from family or friends who bought their home years ago, but you're still not sure where to start. Well, this video is for you. Over the last few years, I've helped tons of first-time home buyers get into the market here in Spokane. And today I'm going to give you a whole roadmap for the whole process. These are things I wish I knew when I started out. And even though I work in Spokane, these tips will help no matter where you're buying. And I bet it'll be valuable even if this isn't your first home in Spokane, but you're looking to buy a home in Spokane. If you learned something from this video, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe so we can help more people get on the right track to owning a home. And if you're planning a move to Spokane, feel free to schedule a meeting with me using the link in the description. Before you even start looking at homes, the first thing you need to figure out is what you can afford. In Spokane, prices can vary quite a bit depending on neighborhood, so knowing your financial situation is key. Spokane's housing market has been competitive, especially for lower price points, but there are still many options for first-time home buyers, especially in the market today. You'll want to meet with a lender or mortgage broker to get pre-approved for a mortgage. This doesn't mean you're committing to buying right away. It just gives you a clear picture of what your budget is. And here's the thing, many people wait until they think they have the perfect down payment saved, but you don't always need 20% down. In fact, here in Washington and the United States, it can be as little as 3 to 5% in some cases, and even 0% for certain veterans or down payment assistant loans. So let's talk about your down payment a little bit more. In Spokane, you have some options that can help you get started. First, if you're a first-time buyer, there are special loans like FHA loans or VA loans if you're a veteran, which allow you to buy with a lower down payment. Just keep in mind that if you're putting down less than 20%, you'll likely need mortgage insurance, which adds a little to your monthly payment, but lets you get into the market a lot sooner. If you're trying to save up more before you buy, consider creating a high interest savings account to store that extra money that you'd be putting towards home ownership. Let's say your rent right now is $1,800 a month, but that future mortgage payment on a house is going to be $2,500 a month. Try saving that $700 difference right now into that high interest savings account to start saving for that down payment. And then you can start to simulate what your budget is going to look like while you own the home and help you plan for the future. So now some neighborhoods to consider. In Spokane, there are lots of great neighborhoods that offer something unique for first-time buyers. The South Hill is a great area for more established areas with beautiful older homes. Spokane Valley is a bit more affordable in some portions of it with a more suburban feel, or you could look at places like Mead and Liberty Lake where it might cost a little bit more, but there's great schools, great amenities, things like that. Make sure to check out our many other videos on our channel regarding some of the specifics on these neighborhoods to help you figure out which one might be a good fit for you. But it's not just about where you live. You also need to consider what's happening in the market. So in neighborhoods like the Spokane Valley, we're seeing about 3.5 months of inventory, which means homes are selling relatively quickly. Months supply of inventory is the key metric when you're looking at how fast or slow a market is moving. It's the number of sold listings divided by the number of active listings that gives you this number. And anything that's 5 months or below is considered a seller's market. Anything 6 months and above would be a buyer's market. And so currently Spokane is averaging at about 3.3 months of inventory as a whole. But if you're looking in places like Deer Park or Newport, where inventory is around 5 to 6 months, you might have a little more time to make a decision and a way more negotiating power in those situations. So now I don't always bring this option up, but you should know that when it comes to choosing your mortgage, there's a big decision to make whether you're going to go with a fixed or a variable mortgage. Variable rates can be appealing because they tend to be lower over the long term, but they fluctuate based on the market. So generally you'll be at a fixed interest rate for a short period of time, and then it'll become variable after maybe 5 years or so. But maybe on the other hand, you want a fixed rate that gives you stability with a set monthly payment over 30 years. Right now, rates have been kind of all over the place. And so if you're somebody who needs stability, a fixed rate might give you peace of mind. You can always refinance later, but there is a cost to refinance. A lot of people just throw out the idea of, yeah, just refinance later, but there's really a cost to do so with a lot of lenders. And it really is you have to look at what the cost is what that costs you. Like if it costs you $10,000 to refinance, spread that out over the amount of money you're saving on that refinance. It might take you 8 years to get that money back. So make sure you're doing the full math equation. You're looking at the whole scenario. Don't just hear the word refinance and jump right into it. If you're willing to take a little bit of a risk and hope that rates do come down over the next few years, a variable rate could save you some money up front. All right, step 5 is the offer process. Once you've found the right home, it's time to make an offer. In Spokane, the market can still be competitive depending on the neighborhood, the price point, things like that. It feels like right now that there are some homes that there's like two separate markets. There's some homes that are taking a long time to sell, 30, 60, 90 days to sell or more. I'm under contract with a buyer that on a home that was on the market for 137 days. But then there's this other section of the market, the perfect homes that are priced super well, have amazing features, things like that, that are going in 2 days. All the buyers are sitting on the sidelines waiting for those perfect homes to hit. And so if you're waiting for that perfect home, you're likely going to still be competing for it. So you'll want to work closely with your agent to make a strong offer. And here's what you'll need to consider. So first is the price. How much are you willing to offer based on the market and the comparable sales? Your agent should offer to do a comparative market analysis, basically look at all the sales around that house and determine what the true value of that property is. Don't just go based off the asking price. The asking price is just an invitation. Look at the data to see what this house should likely sell for, and then see if you can get it for a little less, because that would make it a good deal for you. Next is your earnest money deposits, typically 1% to 2% of the purchase price, which then goes to the escrow company, escrow being the company that actually closes your transaction, the ones that transfers the title from the seller to you. But that is just your good faith deposit, making it a legally binding contract. 99% of the time, you're going to get that money back at closing, or if you were to back out of the agreement based on some findings during the home inspection, let's say, you'd get that earnest money back, but only if you abide by the rules of the contract. You can't just back out willy-nilly and expect to get your earnest money deposit back. And then the next thing you need to decide is the closing date. Most sellers and buyers agree on about a 30 to 45 day closing timeline, sometimes shorter, sometimes longer, just depending on the situation. But I would expect about 30 to 45 days on average. And then lastly is your conditions or your contingencies. So your financing contingency, inspection, appraisal. And here's a little tip I've used with my buyers, the out of 10 rule. When you walk into a home, rate it out of 10. But here's the catch, you can't say 7. Why? Because 7 is too easy and indecisive. If you rate it a 6 or below, you should move on. But if it's an 8 or above, you should seriously consider submitting an offer on that house. And I just want to say, like in the middle of this video, that we have created an entire book, like actual book about our buyer process here that goes over a lot of this stuff in detail. We sit with our clients and go through this whole thing. And we have a digital copy as well. So if you would like, you can use the link down below. I believe there's a buyer guide in the description of this video. If not, use the link to schedule a meeting with me on my calendar. Even if you just want to say, hey, I'm interested in the buyer guide, then we can just send it to you and you can get the digital copy. But the hard copies are expensive, so we don't send those out. All right, step 6 is closing costs and some final extra things. So besides your down payment, don't forget about closing costs. They typically range from 2 to 5% of the purchase price, and these things will include things like title insurance, homeowners insurance, appraisal fees, home inspection fees. And if you're buying a home with an HOA, there might be a HOA transfer fee, or there might be prorated fees that you're going to have to pay. The seller has already paid up a certain amount. You might have to cover a certain difference, or property taxes. You also have to make up a difference in property taxes sometimes, things like that. And then I should also just bring up, with the new world that we're in with real estate commissions, it's possible that you're going to have to pay for your realtor's commission. So this is something that you have to talk to your realtor upfront about. What are they charging? What do they expect to earn? What are they going to charge you? And how is that going to get paid? Most of the time, they're going to fight to get it paid by the seller. But in an event where you're in a multiple offer situation, you might have to come out of pocket to pay your agent. So you got to figure out how much that's going to cost up front and see how it could work into your budget. Buying your first home in Spokane doesn't have to be overwhelming. By understanding your finances, getting pre-approved, and working with a knowledgeable agent, you can navigate the process with confidence. If you're ready to start your journey, feel free to reach out. I'd love to help you find the perfect home. You can schedule a meeting with me using the link below. Don't forget to subscribe for more real estate tips. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one, and reach out if you want a copy of our amazing buyer presentation book.